Real quick before I get started, first let me just say thank you guys for tuning into my channel. If you could just do me one favor, can you hit you don't even have to hit the like button, but can you hit the subscribe button? And then after you listen to the video, hit the like or the dislike button. And if you dislike it, just leave me a comment and tell me why. Did I talk too much, talk too long, didn't understand, what have you. And then if you want to stay in touch with me as I post more videos, then just be sure to hit the notification bell. All right. Hope you enjoy. Okay, I think I got it. Hey everybody. So it has been quite a while since I have done a video, but that's okay. I'm not even gonna get into that. So let me just set the stage here, because one of the things with me with coming up with these videos is I'm always like, how do I start? How do I start? How do I start? Because a lot of the times when I have an idea of something I want to share, it really comes to me through natural conversation with myself. Like, I talk to myself a lot. So is that good? Is that bad? I don't know. So then I'll be thinking, and then I'll say, okay, I got this thought, I want to share it. And then I'll really start talking to you guys or to myself or both. And I'm like, all right, I got to capture this moment. And then when I say, all right, I'm going to sit down to officially, record it, then I'm stuck in, how do I get back into the vibe that I was in when I was already talking to y'all in my head, out loud. So I decided that I'm just going to talk. So if I don't have an intro, it's not because I'm, not caring or anything like that. It's just, this feels more natural to just start talking. So have you ever had something just kind of weighing on yourself for a while, and it's like you're looking for signs for how to handle it? But while you're looking for signs, like, these other signs come that you don't really think are signs, and then you start to think, is that a sign? Because it's like we have our idea of what we think the signs should be. So it's no secret that a big part of me wanting to share my journey and me even having a YouTube channel, a lot of it has been just capturing things that happen throughout my life journey. And the focus has changed over the years for all different types of reasons or whatever. And one of the biggest things that I know has been like a common thread has been me dealing with me and me understanding myself and me being willing to grow and develop. And then you're doing that while life is actually happening, right? So I have really, really been leaning into, you say that you are not afraid. You say that you don't care what people think. You say that you are really getting to know yourself and all of that. What does that really, really mean though? When it comes down to you taking some action steps, are you there yet? Because some of the big action steps that you want to take, you still have not taken, Carrie. Like, why haven't you taken it? So I have been focusing a lot less on the why behind me right now, and more so on whatever the reason is, I want to move forward. So I want to learn what I need to learn to move forward. I want to keep my mindset in the right space to move forward, to do the things that I want to do, to accomplish the things that I want to accomplish, and not for nothing, to not be held back by my normal on and off negative talk that I give myself, really. Because at the end of the day, anything you don't do is usually the result of what you've told yourself. So I've been listening to Lil Wayne's album. I think it's Carter 4, and two of the things that stand out to me with his song is nothing standing in my way, like nothing's my security, and I fear nobody but God Almighty. I've been saying that for like the past 2 months. My kids, my husband, they're over it. But as many times as I've listened to his album, it's just been hitting me real different lately, because there is this energy on it to me where he's just like, I know what I am. I know what I possess. I know where my interests lie. I know where my strengths are. I'm focused on it. I'm minding my business. I don't have nothing to prove. I really could care less what you think about me, and I fear nobody but God Almighty. Like, he's the only entity that I really need to be afraid of not pleasing. And the only way I can not please him is to not be me, is to not bring 100% of me to the show every night. You know what I mean? So that has just been kind of like in my head. And anytime I feel myself getting to a weak point, I'll say that. And then there's like a bunch of other things that have been happening. Like, I saw this little clip of Beyonce talking about now that she's 40, or in her 40s, that is kind of like take it or leave it. Then I listened to another YouTube video from somebody who made a whole bunch of money online. I can't remember her name. I don't want to be, let me see, because I don't want to not give her credit. Vanessa Lau. So she built a 7-figure business, and she was a content creator, and then turned into like coach and all that stuff. Apparently she built a 7-figure business. I just learned about her the other day when I heard her video of her returning to YouTube. So she built a 7-figure business, and then eventually she just kind of took a sabbatical, like a year sabbatical, pulled away from everything. And the other day she posted her video of what her reasoning was. And one of the biggest takeaways that I got from what she said was she got to the point where she didn't even recognize like who she was. As successful as she was on paper and all of the stuff that was happening, the business that she didn't really have an intention of growing as big as it got, all of that, she still was not quite fulfilled and was looking at herself like, what's going on? This isn't me. I need to get back to me. So she's kickstarting again, but really staying heavily focused on showing up as her. So I'm listening to that, right? And then I played my kids all these, like motivational videos recently, because I was trying to get them to understand the ebbs and flow of life. And sometimes, you feel like you might be down, but it could just be like the final round of the boxing match, or of the basketball game, or of you working out, or of gymnastics. I like to use sports to help to drive points home. So listening to all those videos, right? And then I was listening to the Huberman Lab, and he was talking about 3 mental habits of the highly successful. And a lot of that had to do with visualization, like literally visualizing over and over and over again each step of the way, each day, and even visualizing the toughness of the steps that you might have to take. Literally visualizing the struggle of it, if you will, and just really being clear on what you're seeing. So then I listened to somebody else who was talking about how, it's highly unlikely for you to be successful if you don't have a clear vision, yet again, of what it is that you're trying to accomplish. Then I listened to Vanessa Van Edwards and Lewis Howes' psychological tricks to be more charismatic and confident. But in that interview was all this stuff on body cues and gestures, and just like the mental side of understanding your own language that you're sending and other people's stuff. So she was talking about how they analyzed Shark Tank, and they could see that the people who used certain gestures and presented themselves in a certain way were more likely to have left with a deal than not. So then naturally after that, I started watching a bunch of episodes of Shark Tank. So now I'm really paying attention to the spirit and the energy of the people and how they're delivering stuff and the confidence and all of that. So I'm just kind of like, okay, what is going on here? And the only reason that this was hitting me so hard was because what I've also been doing is I've been attempting to figure out, what am I focusing on? I am, as my girl, what's her name, said, Jessica Stansberry, I'm multi-passioned, okay? I have a bunch of different passions. Being here at home so much, homeschooling, stay at home, work from home, home. Your mind goes all over the place. You get ideas, you're creative, you need this, you need that, right? So between my ideas, my kids' ideas, my husband's stuff, there's like always this running queue of, all right, we're gonna start this, we're gonna do this channel, we're gonna do this service, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. And then just keeping it 100, that there's also, you know, like financial outlook of things. And while my husband is the main, well, sole breadwinner, in my mind, I'm always just the whatever in me. I'm always looking like, okay, how can I use my skills to just contribute, to do something, you know what I mean? So I'm looking at all these different ways of doing stuff. I'm considering social media templates, and I opened up an Etsy store and making t-shirts and sweatshirts, believing in your greatness, and you know, all these different things. And mind you, I've also been doing really good with working out, because I got some weight to lose, y'all. I got some weight to lose. So working out has also really been helping me to slowly start to kind of like open up my belief in myself again, because I've been keeping my commitment to myself to work out. Excuse me. So that's kind of increased things. And so that's brewing, right? I got all these ideas happening. I'm starting to kind of land the plane here with what I want to focus on, right? So one of the areas is my YouTube channels, which I have my ChatGPT experience channel that I just started. I'm putting up content there. Canvas, putting up content there. These are both new channels and Real Colors of Health. So I'm literally like in the building mode, putting up the banner and putting up what it's about and the profile picture, and now really starting to put my videos together. This particular channel though is my channel that's been around already. It doesn't have a strong following. It's okay, but I've had content up here. And I was like, well, what am I really going to put up here on this channel? And I said that I would share like homeschooling stuff and all that, and I will. But I was really just like, but what on the day-to-day can I share? And I was just like, you know what, I'm going to put that to the side and it'll come to me. So I'm driving today and I'm listening. I literally was just typing in like random search stuff, like I want to win on YouTube, or I was just because I couldn't think of, I wanted to be watching something that would feed me in a good way, but I couldn't think of a topic because you know, so I was like, I want to win. I want to make it. I want to be successful. I want to like, give me some positive energy here. And some way, somehow, this video called How to Make Your First $1 Million This Year with Arlen Hamilton came up, and it's on the Callum Johnson show. I've never heard of his channel before, but I'm definitely going to subscribe now. However, I have heard of Arlen Hamilton. I think I actually follow her on Instagram, came across her, and I just, I know she's a multimillionaire, and I know that I believe she owns like an investment fund for minority business. Let me not get it wrong. I believe that she owns an investment fund. It might not even be just for minority businesses. So her face was familiar. So I was like, let me just kind of, tap into this. And I'm not going to even attempt to summarize the show. It's an hour and 19 minutes long, and I'm really halfway through it, not even about a third of the way through it. But it was just hitting me so hard I had to stop. I encourage you guys to listen to it. So far, so great for me. And she said, hold on.
It's just not working.
Okay, I think this is the part.
They have this ambition. They see something in the future that they want to enact. They want to make it real life. And the reason I say the start is I think the start is so important, which is like, it's exactly what you said. You're not going to know every step, but step one is very important. Step one is where it all begins. And so I'm curious, if you had to go back and give advice to the 34-year-old Arlen that's sleeping in that airport, that has this vision of building something, of being a millionaire, of having an impact in the world, what's the first thing you would tell? Where should she start?
I think I was doing this, and that's why I made it here, but it's like the being a millionaire part for me couldn't be enough. The goal of being a millionaire. So there had to be this vision that was way bigger than myself. So that's what I would say to that person, 34-year-old me, and I would say to anybody else who is just like, I don't know how to get out of bed. I don't know the first thing about changing my current circumstance. Is if you feel that way, it's most likely because you've made it about yourself, or you made it about your very specific current circumstances. To me, in that moment, they were not, I almost say they weren't real. I was like delusional on purpose. And it was because the end game or the goal, the North Star, was about how many people can I positively affect. And if you find yourself really stuck,
right here,
it might be because you're thinking too small.
Okay, so that's what got me. And the reason that got me is because I have this vision. I have this vision of wanting to create a place for people who have dementia, Alzheimer's, because people with Alzheimer's is what's near and dear to me because of what I am dealing with my mother and what I have witnessed with my grandmother and my great aunt. But in the back of my mind, like I for years, I have kind of been chopping away at what are the things that I can do to help my mom get better. And in doing that over the years, I've come up with product ideas, service ideas. I mean, I have this book. I don't know where the book is right now, but in one of my books, it doesn't matter because that's not the point. Okay, so I have had ideas, I want to say for like the past 5-6 years, maybe more, 6 or 7 years of different ideas of things to do in order to help with Alzheimer's and help my mom specifically, from an app idea to an invention idea to a service idea. Hold on one second. Whew, okay, I gotta just get this out. See, you worry too much about if you say it right. Okay, listen. My mother has been diagnosed with mild cognitive decline, which is now Alzheimer's, which is now stage 6 of Alzheimer's disease. She has been experiencing this disease for the past like 6 years. I have done a great deal of research on Alzheimer's. I have come across amazing physicians, neuroscientists, neurologists, nutritionists. I mean, so many people who have made me a believer of how much Alzheimer's disease can be prevented and reversed. In fact, the main doctor that I've been following for years, Dr. Dale Bredesen, he literally wrote a book called The End of Alzheimer's, Reversing the Disease. So I've been doing my best to study what I can as it relates to Alzheimer's disease. And I even went to the Institute of Integrative Nutrition to become a health coach, just to learn more about how to make healthier decisions for me, for my family. And over the years, as I have witnessed my mother, as I have dealt with my family and us deciding how to best care for her, because everybody, people have different ideas and thoughts on that. I've come up with a lot of different ideas on how I could help and support my mom. And a lot of the times, the things that I really, really think she could benefit from, I'm like, dag, this kind of doesn't exist. This doesn't exist here. Or it costs a lot or it exists, but it exists far away. And the biggest thing that we've come across most recently is a facility. My father is unfortunately not in the position to care for my mom on the day-to-day, and he still wants to stay near her. So the next thing is, okay, what kind of a facility can we put her in that is close to him and is comfortable enough for her, and in my mind follows what's called the oh God, I feel like I'm just not saying it right. Okay. It's just time to stop caring so much about if you're doing it the right way. You could really talk yourself out of something just because you're so in your headspace, okay? Cause now I'm like, oh my God, what should I edit out? Should I start over? Should I this? Should I that? Should I keep it? Should I show transparency? Is it too much? Are people gonna think I'm talking too long? Did I say, like, I hate that. I hate that. I hate that that exists. Like, okay. I have been following Dr. Dale Bredesen, who wrote both of these books, as well as another book called The First Survivors, I believe, of Alzheimer's, which is a book that basically shows how the story of, I think, 4 or 5 people who were diagnosed with Alzheimer's, they followed his protocol, because in this book, he has a protocol for how you reverse Alzheimer's and how you can prevent it. And they followed the protocol and they improved, like, tremendously. So you can understand where me discovering that protocol years ago was at the top of the list for me with getting my mom to follow. The truth of the matter is that protocol, it is extensive. And it's extensive, in my opinion, for 2 different reasons. One, because it is extensive. You know, you do need to get your blood, a lot of blood work done to see where all your levels are. Levels far beyond they test when you get a physical and all of that stuff. And levels that you probably never really thought to test for, like your metal level, the levels of your metals, certain minerals, things like that. And then the other reason why I say it's extensive is because we in the United States, I can say, because I'm from here, we have over time grown to be very accustomed to a pretty unhealthy standard of living, way of living. So just telling somebody to eat a certain number of vegetables each day now becomes a big thing where it really shouldn't be. That said, there are things in that protocol that a lot of people don't do. So to get my mother in the position to be following the protocol, she's in New Jersey, I'm in North Carolina, my dad is older than her and her caregiver, to expect him to implement the protocol and to follow it and to get her to follow it. And even some of the doctors that she has are old school doctors who don't even buy into the notion of what I'm talking about. It can become really difficult. So I'll save the whole story of that for another day, or if you put together some of my videos, you can probably learn a little bit more about all of that, my personal journey with my mom. So what I have found is, in addition to it being difficult to just follow the protocol in general for someone who might not be already living like a really healthy lifestyle, and in addition to it being difficult for my dad and his age and getting my mom to do it, and then in addition to some of her physicians not even buying into the idea that Alzheimer's is reversible and that you can't just pill it away, you have to lifestyle it away. And then you start looking at the facilities, at least the facilities that were in her area and the facilities that are down here. I'm not saying they're bad facilities, but hold on. Okay. So, my mom, forgive me if this is so run on. I just don't know how to approach telling y'all all this. I don't know what to share, what to not. But anyway, so my mother was down here with me for about a month. And at that time, I thought she was going to be moving down here. So I started to look into like daycare type facilities, places where she could go and then be with me for, you know, later on in the day. And then we also looked at places that if my dad decided to move down here, like facilities that could handle the both of them. So basically for me, this was like a new discovery because I never really had a need to even look into any of this before. And to be quite honest, I didn't know that, you know, like nursing homes were so vast. I didn't know there was assisted living, and then there's senior living, and then there's rehabs, and then there's nursing homes, and there's long-term, and there's short-term. Like there's all these different things, and there's memory care, and you know, it's all this stuff. But what I did know was that I wanted to start finding healthcare providers and resources and services with people who believe the same thing that I believe. And what I believe is in, you know, in this book. I believe what he talks about on how Alzheimer's can be preventable and how it can be reversible. Now, I don't necessarily believe my mom can go from where she is now to back to normal, but I do believe that she could make substantial improvements if in the right environment. And side note, pardon the insert, but I'm listening to my video. Another reason why I am in belief of the protocol is because my mom was down here with me for about a month. I implemented some of the protocol, like as much as I could in that short amount of time. And my husband, myself, my kids, we noticed a difference. Even my uncle, my aunts, my sisters, they noticed a difference in how my mom looked in photos and videos we sent. She has been struggling with getting her sentences out. Her communication had begun to improve. Her temperament was starting to improve. So I got a good enough glimpse of a noticeable change for me to believe that if she was totally immersed in the protocol, that we would see a difference. So naturally, the things that I was looking for had to do with, you know, like what kind of nutrition are you guys providing, and what kind of social activities and things of that nature, what kind of like brain stimulation, what kind of therapies, what kind of testing, what kind of support do you have, what do your physicians believe, and things of that nature. And the places that came somewhat close were super expensive. And I get why. Like, I get it. I understand that a lot of places don't want to necessarily charge as much as they charge, but insurance companies and physician, like a lot of people just don't see it the same way. So a lot of the places you would really want to be at are not covered at all with any kind of insurance, Medicare, Medicaid. And then unfortunately in New Jersey, my mother ended up having to go into a facility before we thought she would. And it kind of seemed like we were scrambling to find a place that we could get her into, that we could handle, or that, you know, and she's covered, but also decent and what have you. And, you know, I'm thankful for the place that she has been at, and certainly the place she's about to go into. But it still was like, why don't, you know, if you have all this research that's coming up, and all these doctors and all these people who are showing, I mean, there's documentaries that have been coming out showing how this can be reversed. It's like, well, where is the support for it? Because the baby boomers are a huge generation, huge. So many people are going to be experiencing, if you haven't already, you will in some way, shape, or form have an interaction with this disease with the way that we're going. So I'm like, well, where are the facilities who can provide the Bredesen like protocol, like that type of an environment? And through following Dr. Bredesen, and I'm in he has a Bredesen protocol support group on Facebook that I'm in. Again, I learned that there are a lot of people who are all across the world really looking for these types of places. This place called the Miramar, with, I think her name is Heather Sanderson, I think is the founder. She is a physician, I want to say, and she has a really, really nice, I hate calling it a facility, I just don't know what else to call it, but it's like residential living. She has a really nice place from what I've seen online it's either in California or in the Midwest. And she follows the Bredesen protocol, and she has seen such great results with her residents, such great results. So much so that it has made her a huge believer, and I believe she's looking to expand. But you can only, you're doing one at a time. And there's already a huge waiting list to get into her facility. It costs a good amount of money. So I'm just kind of sitting back, right? And I'm just looking, and I'm just saying to myself, man, if my mom could be there, I know it will make a difference. But I can't get my mom there. I don't have the money to get her here. And what could I wouldn't be able to convince my dad to go Midwest. Like, it's just so far from reality that it started to make me feel hopeless. It started to make me feel bad. I kind of had, like, that was the start of a thought, but I beat the thought down because it seemed so far. It seemed like such a reach. But then I was talking to my husband, and I was like, because I'm in North Carolina, and there are really nice, it's calm. There's so many pretty calm areas, you know what I mean, with just land. And I was talking to my husband one day, and I was like, what if I did my research and put in the work, put in the legwork, even went and formed a relationship with Dr. Bredesen, which is still my goal. Dr. Heather Sanderson, go look at her facility, see what I can learn. Let them know what I'm thinking. What am I thinking? What if I opened up a facility, a resident place here? And then I'm like, well, no, because by the time you do that, would that even help your mom? Could that even help your mom? Is that even possible? And the survivor mode kicks in. Can you make money off of this? It, like some of the stuff that Arlen was talking about, the limiting thoughts, to keep it so small and so focused on you and your current situation that you're just like this, you're like this. When in reality, pursuing an idea that big would have huge impact on many. Whether my mom is one who gets to reap the benefit or not, I don't know. I wouldn't know unless I go, unless I do it. But even if she's not a direct recipient of the benefit, what if she was the direct catalyst of the start of it for other people to benefit? And I was like, oh, that's big. That's too big. That's too big. I'm not in medicine. I got my health coach thing, but I'm not in medicine. I have no idea how you even do it. What? So I kept putting the thought to the side. But then when I heard this interview tonight, I was like, oh, that's why I'm knocking it. That's why. because I'm still operating in this mode. Yeah, you walk around saying I fear nobody but God Almighty and nothing's standing in my way, like nothing's my security. But here you have it. Here you have something huge on the table that could have tremendous impact. Tremendous impact. Imagine you create one of these facilities. I don't know how long it would take. Who cares? Let's not focus on that. Imagine, like Arlen said, I just looked at, it was 2015. I said in 2020, can I imagine my business not existing? And she said, no. I know how much these Alzheimer's numbers are set to go up. I'll put it on the screen somewhere because I don't have it memorized, but I do know it. What if I could impact 20 people's lives, 30 people's lives? Reversal? I was like, what is it, Carrie? Why are you so afraid? What are you afraid of? Failing? Falling on my face? Somebody laughing at me? Me not believing me? Like, what is it? And then I said, well, what if instead of me trying to figure out what it is that's making me not say go, what if I just keep giving myself reasons to go? What if you just go? What if you just do it? That's when I got my aha moment. And I was like, this channel is going to focus primarily on my journey to getting this facility. This channel is primarily going to be focused to all the steps I find that I have to take because I don't know. That was something else that they said in the video. First of all, just worry about taking the step. And then they both were saying that there's a level of naivety that you have to have when you really want to pursue something big. Because the reality is, if you really, really, really knew all of what it's going to require, all of what it requires, you probably talk yourself out of it. So it's almost to your benefit that you don't quite know everything that it's going to require. And I was like, okay, I could go with that. I could see the scariness of it because I am definitely the person who's like, hold up, let me figure out what all the steps are supposed to be. Let me figure out all the things that can go wrong. Now, I believe you're supposed to still do that. But I think that there is a certain level of, I don't know, that you have to just be willing to accept that I was allowing myself to get caught up in. And I thought it was necessary to fill in that blank, but it could be the case that that became like a crutch. Like, okay, until I can figure this all out, I'm going to put it on as pause over there. So I wanted to record this, one, because now I know what I'll be focusing on this channel, but two, this is my accountability, y'all. And this is beyond me. Even as I'm saying it, I'm getting scared. What if whew, could it be me that's supposed to be contributing to this? There was no interest. I hate to say it, but beyond just the sweetness of senior citizens and loving seeing senior couples together, and then my elders and my family, I really didn't care much about senior life and what happens with seniors and illness. And I really didn't. It might sound bad, but I really did, because there was no real connectivity to me. And now it's like, I feel so obligated to figure something out, but I also am like, can it be me? Can I do this? So I don't know all the steps. I don't even know the next step. But with myself, with the resources, I'm definitely going to be using ChatGPT a whole lot. So I'll be bridging I'll probably be direct when I bring him in. I'll probably direct y'all over to my why is that fading away? I'll probably be directing y'all over to the Chat GPT experience for, you know, me pulling him in. But I'm gonna figure this out. And I'm gonna figure out the timeline. And I'm imagining that as I learn how to build this and what to do and the research, because I know a great deal of this, I already know a big deal of this is a learning curve for me and research. So I'm prepared for that. I'm going to do my best to document all of that. And then to me, I will be able to better fit my other areas of interest and skills in where died. I mean, I was talking too much. Then I will be able to fit the other areas that I want to do stuff into my whole picture. It'll make it a lot more purposeful, I think, for me, which again goes back to what Arlen was saying. Now I think I understand why the things I come up with, I go for it, then I stop, because usually it is a money grab, or it is a quick thought out thing that doesn't really ground itself in something substantial, and that doesn't hold me down for long. It's easy for you to kind of let that go when situations change, but having something that can have greater impact than just you and can clearly help other people, it does make it a little different with how and why you would move the way you would need to move. So I'm excited. I'm nervous. I'm not going to claim fear, but I am nervous. But I fear nobody but God Almighty. So I'm going to keep pushing myself through this. And I hope that this can help somebody else. And I hope that you guys enjoy the journey and can even be a part of it. Kind of wish I would have gotten the strength to start this earlier, but you can't go with regrets. So I know no matter what, my mom would be proud of me. I know either way, my mom would be proud of me for making this decision. So I'm going to stop because now my iPad is too full. I'm back on my phone. My phone's about to die. I got to edit this video and get going. So thank you guys so much for journeying with me. If you want to stay along for the journey, please do me a favor and hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. You can hit the notification bell so that when I post, you'll get the notifications. Thank you guys. Look forward to talking to you soon. Bye.